So then you would seek out these two 11-year-olds and commit these offenses?
Not that I meant to, I was under the influence. I was drunk. Like some of the times I don't even remember doing it.
So what was your reaction when you were told that was why the police wanted to talk to you? Did you know that you did it at that point?
Obviously, I had known that something had happened.
Okay.
What you're about to watch is absolute insanity. It is madness. You have a man who is doing this to two 11-year-olds for a 3-year period, multiple times per week. And what does Connecticut do? They give him a 5-year sentence. 5 years. You just can't make this stuff up. 2 victims, multiple times per week for multiple years. You know, this is the kind of stuff that makes me want to do this, that makes me want to go online and just show the world how insane and barbaric these sentences are. I mean, he was only sentenced on January 30th of 2024. His maximum release date, regardless of what happens here today, is 12/20 of 2026. And he has a long record of being dangerous in the community. But we know that they don't care about children. We know that the system likes to just sign these plea deals. You know, he was sentenced to 18 years, but all suspended after 5. And then he only has 10 years probation. Can't make it up. Well, we'll jump into this hearing and I'll unpack it with what details we have at the end.
Travis Hapgood, 412-108.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration for parole application for Travis Hapgood, 412-108. He is serving a sentence of 18 years jail, execution suspended after 5 years with 10 years of probation for 4 counts of sexual assault 4th degree, 4 counts of illegal sexual contact, illegal operation of a motor vehicle without ignition device, and evading responsibility. As of today, record reflect a parole eligibility date of June 19, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and showed the offender has completed the following program: short-term sex offender program invoices, utilizing a statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system scores. The offender's overall score for recidivism falls in the high range. There's also a static 99 score of a 3, which falls in the low to moderate range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you should be granted parole. You may begin.
All right, so I'm in talk now.
Yes, go ahead, sir. Thank you.
All right, well, I want to apologize for like all my actions and my like, you know, all the bad stuff I did. And, you know, me being in jail, it made me like look at life differently, because me being incarcerated, you know, this isn't the life for me. And I think I could do like a better life out there instead. And like my family, they're hurting without me. And, you know, I think I could do better out there. I'm also doing good in here, but I think I could do good out there too as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hapgood. Tell us about what you did. What did you do?
I was using drugs and, you know, drinking and driving. And then I also, you know, I was getting drunk, and then I got the sexual assault charge. But, you
How'd
know,
you get the sexual assault charge?
huh?
How did you get a sexual assault charge?
I touched 2 minors.
Okay. What exactly did you do to them?
Well, you know, I touched their body parts where I wasn't supposed to do and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Because it's important that you be able to discuss what it is that you've done, and getting it out there and acknowledging that you did something that was inappropriate is part of rehabilitation.
Okay.
And so I appreciate your being handed. What's going to happen here is each of us will take an opportunity to ask you some questions. When we're done, excuse me, we will deliberate and give you our decision.
Okay.
Best of luck to you, sir. Mr. Rodriguez, we'll start with the questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. These were quite a few charges. I'm glad that you acknowledged your wrongdoing because you didn't when you were interviewed by the parole officer. You basically said that you didn't know you were living with someone and they accused you of something.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that you've now taken that to the actuality of what happened.
Yeah, because before, like when I first came to jail, you know how everybody is, they try to like play innocent and stuff like that. But as I got further along of being incarcerated and I went to my groups and, I had a group with some lady named Melissa, and she told me that like, it's like, okay to like come out and say what you actually did. So you're like forgiven for your wrongs and stuff like that. And she also like told me about some groups that I can attend on like when I'm on the outside.
So that's why I say I appreciate you, now acknowledging, what happened and what went on and that you didn't stay with this particular statement, because I sure would not have appreciated hearing that in this particular situation. And the charges were serious. Listen, so a lot of this also seems to be based on your substance abuse issues.
Yeah, I was drinking.
Do you acknowledge having an issue with drugs and alcohol?
Yes, I do.
And so you're an addict?
I mean, I once was I was an addict when I was home, but I maintained my sobriety.
Watch out now.
If you are an alcoholic or were an alcoholic, you are an alcoholic today.
Yeah, I know, but I am an addict. All right. Okay.
Yeah, these issues that came up, what's caused them. You got to come to grips with what the reality is, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the programs that you've taken.
I took a sexual behaviors group with a lady named Melissa. She was a nice lady, but I also learned of like ways how to avoid sexual and like how to like not like drink and end up doing something that I'm not supposed to do. It basically taught me like ways of avoiding, like not avoiding, but like staying out of like away from being able to end up doing something bad, like to prevent it. You get what I'm saying? So, and then I took voices with Barcombe, and she taught me like other ways of like, handling like my anger and like how to handle like different like political and like other stuff like that in the world.
And those are good. They're two very good programs that you needed to take, that were important for you to take. What did you do about your substance abuse? What program did you take around your substance abuse?
I tried to apply for tier 2, but they said I couldn't take it.
Because
they said my score was too high.
That your score was too high.
Yeah, they said I couldn't take tier 2.
You needed to take tier 4?
No.
Well, what are you doing for your substance abuse? You've worked on issues around victims, right? Which is your voices, right?
Yep.
You learned about victims and how the impact of victims.
Yeah.
And you took your sexual offender track program.
I go to NA meetings like once a week though, but that doesn't count as a program. That's why I didn't say it.
So if your addiction service is on your OAP, why wouldn't you be able to take it? I'm not following that. Any particular reason? Why wouldn't you take it?
I signed up for the tier 2, and they said I didn't qualify for it.
With a drug score of 4, you didn't qualify for it.
For the tier 2, yes.
They must have wanted him to participate in the tier 4. I don't know where that came from. But
That's what I would have thought. They didn't want to do a tier 2. Well, that's something that would concern me. Even though you took these other 2 very good programs,
Yeah.
It would concern me that you're not dealing specifically like that with your substance abuse issues, because that was a driving factor. Yeah, the issue with your driving was around substance abuse. The issue with the sex offense was around substance abuse and alcohol. So it seemed to me that that would be like a necessary thing.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so I need to be honest with you and tell you that that concerns me a lot.
Yeah. Well, if I was granted, I would, attend meetings and I would do the right things to maintain my sobriety.
I think you have to figure out a way to get into an addiction services program. I don't see how I would be able to go any further at this particular point. Tell me some of the other things that you learned to change your life around.
Well, I learned to look at, like life differently. I learned that life isn't always as fun as when you're like high and drunk. Cause I used to look at life, it's like, I used to always party and stuff like that. So my mind wasn't clear. But now that, I'm sober and I can see that there's much more things to life instead of just drinking and driving around. Like, I understand that I'm missing a lot of things that, like, I'm about to be 30 years old and I literally have nothing that I can call mine. Like, literally absolutely nothing. I don't own anything, nothing. That's because I was using and drinking. But now I understand that, like, I shouldn't be doing that. Like, it's not a necessary thing that I have to do every day. I need to get a job and I need to be there for my family.
I'm pretty sure that even on the outside, when you were drinking, you said to yourself, I shouldn't be doing this, that this is very hard. Right? I'm sure you must sit on the outside as well. So, in order to, to be successful in that, besides the program, you need the support network on the outside to be able to deal with that. That's not even set up for you. You don't even have that set up for you. So you would need a good relapse prevention plan to be able to help you succeed on the outside, because you're going to get additional programming on the outside anyway.
Yeah.
If you were to be released. But that piece of it, you need to be able to begin to set up for yourself. And I'm not sure, you don't seem to be working on that. Your EOS date is in 2026. So you don't have a whole lot of time, really. Maybe a little less than a year, a little more than a year and a half. You have. Yeah, it's my feeling you need to be able to get some of these other programs in, at least for me. Because as I said, you've already taken 2 of the programs that you needed to take. But there's still an element of this for me that kind of leaves me concerned about public safety. Issues around your driving and around what does drinking do to you? It kind of releases your inhibitions. So sometimes you do things that you normally would not do if you were sober. So I'm very concerned about that. And those are key questions for me, because those are the things that I want to see happen in order to feel comfortable to be able to feel that you're suitable to be able to release you today. So, I'm going to hear what my colleagues have to say before I determine my decision on this. But somehow you got to advocate for yourself to get to this addiction program. If it's tier 4, you need to go into tier 4, because that's a good program. That's a program that we kind of really look at to say, oh yeah, this is a premier kind of program in the facility that really we know helps individuals out who have substance abuse issues.
Understand.
Okay. I thank you for answering the questions that I did have and for talking with me. Madam Chair, I'm done.
Thank you. Ms. Sapo?
Yes, so back to the sexual assault charges, Mr. Hapgood. The mother of the victims said that you lived with them both in Bristol and New Britain for about a 3-year period. And the victims believe that this behavior went on for approximately a year based on the report that I read. Were you drunk the entire time that this was happening?
I was working and like drinking and using at the same time. I know it doesn't sound good. It sounds terrible, but that's.
So were your behaviors and your actions toward these two minor children fueled by your addiction, and or was this happening when you were sober as well?
No, it wasn't happening when I was sober.
So, I mean, the motor vehicle charges are secondary to this. My concern is, what was your level of drug use that, and I guess it was alcohol and marijuana, and then occasionally mollies? When were the mollies involved?
I tried it one time, but then I started doing it daily.
Okay. So there are people that we see come before us who have the same substance abuse score that you do or higher, that talk about blackout drunk episodes, who have engaged in, criminal activities, but haven't progressed to the point of assaulting minors. So I'm trying to get where the cause and effect is in terms of your drug and alcohol use, your mental status, or what that brought you to those offenses. This is more than crashing into a fence. It's more than fighting at school or getting kicked out of school. This is just a whole different level. Can you talk a little bit about where we meet on this and what happened?
All right, well, when I used to wake up to go to work, I would start drinking right before I go to work. But while I would be at work, I'd be taking Molly and Coke. I'd do it like during the same time. So by the time I returned home, I'd be like fully intoxicated and high.
Okay, and then what would happen?
And then, that's when I did the offense.
So then you would seek out these two 11-year-olds and commit these offenses?
Not that I meant to, I was under the influence. I was drunk. Like some of the times I don't even remember doing it.
So what was your reaction when you were told that was why the police wanted to talk to you? Did you know that you did it at that point?
Obviously, I had known that something had happened.
Okay. But in one of the reports, you said, I was living with someone who made accusations and I was drunk. So at what point did you take ownership of this? Because I noticed in the reports that the police tried to meet with you a couple of times and you did not make those appointments. So it seems to me that you were ducking out on having that conversation.
Well, when I really came to realize what I have done, that's when my mind was like, actually, I sobered up and actually figured out what I have done. And when I was like avoiding the cops and stuff like that, I thought it was for other reasons. Because I was also running around the streets, like, hanging out and I was invading the cops and doing stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for talking to me.
Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Zappo. So we're going to deliberate now. Sir, give us a few minutes and we will give you our decision. Mr.
Okay.
Rodriguez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Haggard, he's taken, voices, and he's taken this sex offender track unit that he needed to take. But I think his problems stem even a lot deeper than all of that. And I think his substance abuse is a major issue for him. And I don't find him really at this moment prepared to deal with any kind of relapse prevention kinds of issues or any relapse when he's back on the outside. And that would concern me around the issue of public safety. That not only the sex offense, but also the driving as well. I'm concerned about that. I think he needs to, work on figuring out how he takes that. And it should probably be a tier 4 program that he takes. But I'm a denial for Mr. Haggard today. I hope that he, considers the seriousness of his problem and really advocates strongly for himself to get into a program that will help him deal with his substance abuse issue, because I think that's a driving factor in the offenses that he's committed. But because of that, I really just can't find myself to grant him his discretionary parole today. I'm a denial for today with no rehear.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. The nature of these crimes and the amount of time that they were committed over a 3-year period, it says 2 to 3 times a week. It's very, very concerning to me. And to get 4 counts of sex assault in the 4th and 4 counts of illegal sexual contact, I really do believe that 5 years was a gift. Ms. Zappo.
I think it's, from a positive standpoint, it's good that he is attending any programs, but I agree that the substance abuse issues and the need for a solid relapse prevention plan is critical, as well as I think additional mental health involvement either on the unit or whatever can happen in order to get to the root of some of these issues in order to avoid any type of repetition once in the community.
Thank you.
That'll be it. Thank you.
We're not done, sir. So the reasons for denial, nature and circumstance.
Offenses of current offense. I have an inadequate release plan.
And inadequate program participation.
Yes.
He didn't take it too. Okay. With regard to Travis Hapgood, 4121108, I move to deny discretionary parole based on the nature and circumstance of the offenses, inadequate release plan, and inadequate program participation. He will not receive a new hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, sir, you'll receive all of this in writing. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And they denied, but again, I just have to call out the insanity of the system. It's just, can you imagine? Can you imagine someone who is doing it to 2 11-year-olds? Now, we don't know what the date was. It was 11 when he got charged. So it started at, I don't know, 8 or, that would be my guess, actually, because this parole board is so incompetent. They don't even bring up that information. And we don't have a lot of info either that Holly was able to find, except that he has a long record, of course, of, it's so overwhelming, this entire parole hearing, watching it, that you lose sight of how insane it is. You are telling me that for 3 years you are doing, which I'm guessing it's girls that he's living with, right? So it's like his girlfriend's children. So he's like a father figure, probably like a stepfather. He's going and he's doing this multiple times a week for years. And they rank him a low risk to reoffend a score of 3. By the way, a score of 3, it's still hard to get. and it's like, are you nuts? Are you really nuts? It's this static 99 thing. I cannot get over it. He's not a low risk. They don't even they're even like just talk. Well, I like the point that they said, a lot of people that drink and booze, they don't touch children. And it's like, yeah, maybe he just that's what he does. People, they go and they find women to live with who have children in their target age, and they know exactly who they can have to manipulate and achieve their goal. And he's probably so happy. I mean, he got the deal of a century. He's able to fulfill his sick fantasies for years. And then all he gets is a 5-year maximum sentence. These judges and these DAs, they're nuts. They're sick. The parole board member says, you could do this for all those years and this is the sentence you get. It's a gift. And no, Madam Parole Board member, who was it that said it? Was it Zappo or was it Barry? It's not a gift. That's a crime. In my opinion, it's a crime. It's a crime against justice. It's a crime against the community. The system is put here to protect. How dare you give a sentence like that? Sick. And he's getting out regardless for his EOS date, which is coming up in 12/20 of 2026. And if you don't think that he's going to come out there and pay, let me see his record here that Holly has in here. It's like he has So he says the sexual content 2022, he is evading responsibility. In 2020, he has illegal operating of a vehicle without an ignition device. That's how long, he has a track record of right substances. It's I can't. Like, I think we all feel this way. It's absolute madness. It really is. To think that he's not going to come back out onto the street and create more victims is insane. What can we do? What can we say? They don't really care about children. They don't really care about protecting our community. It's all a gimmick. They're all laughing at us. And this is just the proof right here. I don't understand how many people seeing this will say, you know what, this is justice. This is a good use of, this is the system working right. I mean, who's saying that? I don't think anyone, maybe, 1%. And when you think about those facts, that's just crazy. So it's the small people in the Department of Corrections and the judges and the DAs, they know better than all of us. Yeah, I guess so. We're just sheeple. Or are they actually too lazy to go out and lock people up for the proper sentences? I don't know. Anyways, with that, I'll let you go.
They were committed over a 3-year period. It says 2 to 3 times a week. It's very, very concerning to me. And to get 4 counts of sex assault in the 4th and 4 counts of illegal sexual contact, I really do believe that 5 years was a gift. Ms. Zappo.